All right, good morning. We're here to explain a little bit about the operation and the theory of the new steam heating boiler. This device is a combination pump starter and low water cutoff. So when the water level in the boiler drops to a certain level, it'll start the pump, put the water back in the boiler. If the pump should fail for some reason, the water level will continue to drop, and a cutout of this particular device will stop the boiler from firing, because you can't fire a boiler without water, and it's a very dangerous condition. If for some reason this would fail and the water drops a little further, you have a secondary low water cutoff. One of the differences between the two of these is this is an automatic reset. The second one is a code mandated manual cutoff. If it ever reaches that low of a level, that will cut the boiler off, but it will not refire even if water goes back to the boiler until it is manually reset. If that happens, you want to investigate, probably through a service contractor, why that happened, because that should not normally occur.
What we're going to do is, when a thermostat calls for heat, we have a relay down here on the wall up high there. It has a little red light on it right now. The thermostat is calling for heat. So that tells us down here that the thermostat is calling for heat and our boiler should be firing. So now we got a call for heat. Our thermostat's on. We got a call for heat. This tells us that the pilot lit and that the main flame is now burning. I'm going to be adding another switch here by code from the boiler inspector. It will be before this switch. Both switches will still work, shut the boiler down, but this one will have the ability to put a lock in it. That's the master control panel here. Mainly the only switch that you need to concern yourself with right now is the power switch. You can turn it off and on with this power switch. There is a flame failure alarm. Should never happen, but it is a flame failure alarm. The bell will go off if we have a flame failure. If it's calling for heat and it fails, this bell will go off, and you can silence it with this. I'll turn it on for a second just so you can hear it. See? That silences your alarm.
That'll sound as long as you know.
That'll sound as long as till somebody throws the switch.
Somebody throws it.
And that one, if a flame failure, when you have a flame failure, that's another major failure that somebody needs to know about. So it's a reset. You have to reset that one. So basically, if you have a flame failure issue and that alarm's going off, you can silence the alarm, turn the power switch off, call somebody.
If someone should come down and smell gas.
Yeah, it's right on the other side of that doorway.
On the other side of the
Walk
doorway.
out here.
Yeah.
Okay, that you would take this and break the glass, which releases the switch. That will cut the gas feed to the boiler and the hot water heater.
And the hot water heater, and it'll also turn on the light.
Right. But if someone should come down here, smell smoke or smell gas,
Yeah.
doesn't want to come in the room, you could emergency
Shut off. That shuts everything down.
and call the service call.
Basically what the boiler will do is the boiler will cycle between 3 and 5 pounds as long as the thermostat is calling for heat. This one is another manual reset safety. It's one of those safeties where if you have to manually reset it, call somebody. Something went wrong. You have safeties all over the place. We have safeties here on the steam side, we have safeties here on the water side that Glenn was talking about, our pump control, our low water cutoff, and our secondary low water cutoff. We even have safeties on our gas line. We have that blue one there, which is a low gas pressure. If we have a low gas condition, that will shut down. That's another manual reset. Call somebody if something happens there.
We're going to encourage the folks at the church that anything that requires a manual reset, that we call for service.
Absolutely.
We don't want the folks to try and manipulate it themselves. It's off for a reason.
Yes, it is.
And it might be more dangerous to try and do something with it than have somebody come in who knows the system.
Really, if something goes wrong, even on the miter end of it, it's going to be hard for anybody that doesn't know what they're looking at to troubleshoot anyway. Really, for the people here at the church, the thermostat, there's a little red light on the thermostat. When that red light comes on, it's telling you that the thermostat's working. You come down here, that other red light I showed you, if that red light is not on and the one upstairs is on, there's something wrong in the call for heat. And then even if that light's on upstairs and this light is on down here, and this is not running, it's not maintaining 3 to 5, then there's something wrong in this area. And pushing some buttons and stuff, I don't recommend just going around and pushing buttons.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah. If it won't come on, the best thing is to call somebody. So basically, we get a call for heat from the thermostat. It goes over to our boiler control panel. If our boiler control panel is satisfied and everything is good on the boiler control panel, then it'll send a signal to this device here, which will turn on your pilot flames. This here is a safety relief valve. It's vented to outside. If our steam pressure gets exceedingly high through any of these safeties fail, this safety relief valve will relieve the pressure in the boiler and blow it outside. You would test this by pulling this lever, just pulling this lever up. I don't recommend you guys doing that. I would do that with your annual check when whoever you hire to come in here at the beginning of the heating season to test it out. That's one of the things that they'll check. Because that is a lot of pressure blowing out of there right now. Same 5 pounds, it shut the boiler down. So as that drops, once it hits 3, it'll kick the boiler back on. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but the pump control just kicked the pump on to bring our water level. I don't know if you can make this out or not. But our water level here, this is our sight glass, which shows us how much water we have in there. This line here is our secondary low water cutoff line. This is the setting on the first low water cutoff. The pump's on, you can see the water level rise, and the pump feeds in through this pipe here into the system. I took the handle off of that one and zip tied it to the pipe. I don't want nobody shutting that valve off. You're in here blowing down. I didn't want any accidents to happen. Somebody think a valve should be closed. That would essentially starve our boiler of water. So basically, that's why that is zip tied to the side there for the service guy, me, or whoever comes in here and needs to work on anything. They can put that valve back on there and close it if they need to. Alright, basically what we got here is your condensate receiver tank. Steam goes out to your building, out to your distribution system, out to your radiators, and so forth. Once it condenses back into water, it all runs back down to this tank. The boiler pump control, the pump is on the back side of the tank here. When the boiler needs water, it indexes this pump on and just feeds the water from this tank to your boiler. That pressure gauge over there with that 1/2-inch copper line is your city water makeup. If this tank gets too low, the float gets too low, and it will automatically open up the city water into your tank here. Essentially, it is exactly like your toilet. It has a toilet float ball valve float in there. That float gets too low, it opens up the valve, fills it with water, float rises, shuts it off. And these are the devices that are watching our steam pressure. This is our first one here, is our operating control. This is the control that 5 pound steam pressure. If something goes wrong with this operating control and we keep making steam, we go above that 5 pounds, this high limit switch will reset on its own. If we shut down power, this will shut down power and shut off power to your control panel and to your boiler. And it's marked rather clearly here, that's emergency. And then in this panel right next to the boiler is number 19 is our boiler stat power. That powers up the transformer that feeds the thermostat, and that thermostat controls your boiler and it controls the fan for the chapel Sunday morning for when the chapel comes on. So this will shut down the stat and it'll shut down the boiler if you throw it down. And that one over there will shut down the boiler and all the emergencies. It will also shut down the max-on valve going to your hot water heater. So that water heater would need relit if either of these breakers were thrown. Alright, the secondary low water cutoff, they're actually calling for once a week is fine, blowing this one down. This is the pump control and the low water cutoff. Minimum once a week. I would say minimum once a week on this one, and if you're down here, it doesn't hurt to blow this one down more often.
Can you show them how it's done?
Yep. Blow this one down, basically we got some steam pressure going here, our burner is on. So basically you'll just, oh, might help if I take the cap off. There is a cap on it. As you can see, there's some black. The initial blowdown, you've seen a lot of black dirt come out of there. That's basically what the blowdown is accomplishing. You're getting all that, you don't want to build up of any dirt and soot and rust and scale inside here. That'll affect the float from working. So, blow it down. Burner kicked off. We went on low water condition, pump is on.
Yeah, you may want to use some gloves when you do that.
Yeah. Basically. Then when you dump it out, you can actually see how heavy your scale and dirt is. Which this ain't too bad. You're always going to have some scale and some dirt. This is an old system. And my glasses are all fogged up. So what you have left in there is just a little bit of dirt at the bottom. This is when you get the bigger hunks of dirt and scale. You want to be aware of that. But that also kicked the pump on and it shut the burners down. Actually, yep, there, come back on. That's an automatic reset. That one. And same thing with this one.
You want to put the cap back on so someone doesn't accidentally walk by and hit the lever.
Yeah. Throw this one down. Get some dirt out of there. Yeah, there's a little bit of fine dirt in there. But that one's gonna, when you trip that one, you blow that one down, you do have to hit the manual reset because you did it yourself. Alright, what we have back here is the blow down on the back of the boiler, which goes through our cooling tank. But this one here, the way it's piped and the way it's run, you have to blow it down when there's some pressure on it. So when it's cycling, when it's just sitting here cold, if you open these valves, you're not going to blow a whole lot out of it. So you got to wait till you get somewhere 3 to 5 pounds on it. I'm not sure where we're at right now. There's 2 valves. We have a regular ball valve, which we open first. And then we have a globe valve, which is the second one, because we don't want to blow this one down wide open real fast. We want to just kind of bring this one in. So start turning it. You'll feel it flowing. Pipe will get real hot. And that flows through the cooling tank and goes straight over to the drain. You can see it draining over there. A minute and a half should be fine to blow whatever scale and buildup is right inside that boiler there. And that runs it through the tank. The tank cools it off before it goes down the drain. Close the globe valve, close the ball valve.
And then on this side of the boiler, we have a water meter. And the water meter measures the water that's going into the condensate receiver tank.
Water flows this way.
Yeah, as you blow down the boiler, you lose some water, or if you have any leaks in your steam system, you lose some water. And that should be part of your maintenance log, is to record that weekly or monthly during the heating season.
Yeah, just so you know how much water you're adding.
Yes, it's a good reference tool for diagnostics to see how much makeup water you have, because fresh water actually brings in a lot of impurities that will dictate, if you use chemical treatment later, how much chemicals you may need.
And if you do lose water, I mean, you're going to lose water by blowing down every week. And if you lose water anywhere else in your system, your makeup system is actually in your condensate receiver tank. So as the condensate receiver tank level goes low, it will open up city water to fill it back up as it's needed. So that'll maintain, the boiler pump control will maintain the boiler level, and the condensate receiver tank will maintain the tank level.